Eamon will be back on Wednesday to let us know how the campaign is going. Bob.
Thanks, Jessica. And talking of appeals, the Court of Appeal is probably thinking of building a special annex just to deal with footballers. More of that in a moment. My learned friend James Beglin here appearing as judge, jury and maybe even defence counsel in one case. But first, the weekend's Premiership action with Camilla Affleck.
Even before kick-off, City's fans had plenty to cheer about. FA Cup hero Bert Troutman returned to Main Road to officially open the new Kippax stand. To complete the afternoon celebrations, City claimed their 10th point from 4 games through Niall Quinn's back heel and Jorge Kincladzi's first goal in English football. More pre-match celebrations at Goodison Park. Duncan Ferguson was welcomed back by the Everton faithful before watching his teammates get out of jail themselves after going 2-0 down against Sheffield Wednesday. 2 minutes in, Lee Briscoe's cross was headed home by Mark Bright. Wednesday then went further ahead when Chris Waddle set up Bright for his second. Right on half-time, Limpar and then Stewart set up Andrei Kanchelskis for a vital strike. And then Kanchelskis did a similar favour for Daniel Amakachi to complete a memorable escape. Bolton are still looking for their first points away from home. Southampton's David Hughes hit the goal. Bolton hit rock bottom. Liverpool had the privilege of the North West's first look at Middlesbrough's Brazilian Juninho. He immediately made his presence felt, allowing Nick Barmby to set up an easy strike for Neil Cox in the second minute. Jason McAteer supplied Neil Ruddock with his 3rd goal of the season, but within a minute Middlesbrough were back in front. Barmby volleying in Cox's cross deflected off Ruddock. Liverpool's last victory still that distant 6-0 win against Manchester City a month ago. A points decision at Arsenal. Rovers' best chances fell to Mike Newell, Lee Dixon getting in the way at the crucial moment, and David Seaman instinctively saving Newell's close-range header.
Well, Jim, David Batty and Graham Lasso back there yesterday, and I think fined today.
Yeah, no real surprise in that, but we all expected that. The club haven't disclosed the amounts involved, but we expect that it's probably 2 weeks' wages, which is the maximum allowed. And now Graham Lasso, I'm sure, will accept that, but David Batty, I'm not so sure. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say on it, because I didn't think David Batty did an awful lot wrong. Yes, the two players squared up to each other, but it was Graham Lasso who lashed out. David Batty only raised his hands to protect himself. And,
one assumes there's a bit of a history there
for
it to happen.
Possibly. Well, we don't know what's gone on beforehand, but certainly we can do without that on the field of play. And,
absolutely.
But David Batty, again, I still think it's probably a little bit harsh on him.
Right, but he was saying he might not even pay the fine, but then he said any fine he would pay.
Well, maybe they've just talked him round now, it looks like it, so I think he's going to have to pay it.
You're right. Now the Ensley League goals from Saturday, starting with Division 2, and here with them is Mike Sadler.
A disappointing day for Crewe. They failed to capitalise on the leaders Swindon's defeat. 1 goal settled it. David Rush's early strike, enough for Oxford. Blackpool also found themselves chasing the game in the Midlands. Kevin Wilson putting Walsall ahead early in the second half. But within 7 minutes they were level. Mickey Mellon's equaliser keeping Blackpool handily placed in the top 6. Now, one young player who's proving a big hit with county fans is Ben Thornley. His brilliant opener set Stockport on their way. Surely a goal of the month contender. The second wasn't a bad strike either. Sean Connolly's persistence setting up Alan Armstrong, who made full use of the woodwork. But it was Thornley again who set up the third. He's not the only one enjoying his loan spell from Manchester United. Jeff Eckard, the player there, to profit. 3 goals in the space of 20 minutes. Surely the manager Dave Jones will forgive the lapse, which allowed Paul Miller a consolation.
Ghosting in and then out, and a good effort, and it's more than that, it's a sensational goal. Prime, and then it's gone in from Nogan. Ayres knocked it on, and Nogan finished. Keith, Ayres, Joyce, it's in, and onside is Watkin. Connolly's on the far side, it's gone short, and it's the equaliser from Peter Ward.
Alistair Mann, our commentator there. Jim, there are a couple of amazing goals there, but you come armed yet again with an amazing fact,
and
do you not?
It's Bury again, Bob.
Right.
Last week they'd scored their first win at Ninian Park, Cardiff in over 65 years.
I remember you telling me that.
This weekend they scored their first goals at Gig Lane in the league for 8 hours and 8 minutes of football. David Johnson was the man who scored. No wonder they're celebrating like mad. Their form at home has been poor this season in the main, and the second goal, well, the result of poor goalkeeping, and David Pugh is the man following up. So Bury doing well away from home.
8 hours and 8 minutes.
8 hours and 8 minutes at home, so no wonder they're pleased about that.
I should think their supporters were pleased as well.
Let's hope they can continue it now.
Now, a new signing for Wrexham yesterday, but Wrexham Rugby Union Club.
Well, Jonah Lomu, the All Black, who starred in the World Cup, made a guest appearance at the weekend at Wrexham for his old coach, Phil Kingley-Jones. He was the one who discovered him as a 14-year-old in New Zealand. Look at the thighs on him, Bob. 20 stone, 6'5". Tell you what, I wouldn't fancy being a full-back and him running at
and he
me.
must be a nice lad to make all that big journey to Wrexham.
Fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic trip to make.
Indeed.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Jim. Jess.
Now, if you've been in hospital recently, the chances are that you've tuned in to the hospital radio station to relieve either the pain, boredom, or even both. These days, there's 24-hour music and even request shows. But in Chorley, patience is wearing a bit thin, as the station only has 5 CDs. Paul Crone, in need of some treatment himself, went to investigate the case of the slipped discs.
This is Chorley Hospital Radio. My name is Will Stead and I'm playing your request this evening. We're going up to Rockliffe Ward now, saying hello to Tony. And Tony has requested Jim Reeves, a track called I Love You Because.
I love you because you understand it.
Chorley Hospital Radio, providing a sterling service for hundreds of patients for the last 26 years. The station has plenty of music, although not all of it chart-topping stuff, more hit parade.
What are you listening to, Tom?
It's Jim Reeves.
Bit of Jim Reeves.
Yeah.
Albums at the radio station, no problems at all. Tapes, no problems either. CDs, a problem. A lack of CDs means patients' choice of music can be a little repetitive.
Right, we're going back up to Rockliffe Ward now, saying hello to Barry. Hi Barry, hope you're feeling a little bit better this evening. It's our favourite man again, it's Jim Reeves and I Love You Because.
I love you because you understand it.
Have you got any M people?
No.
Have you got any Simply Red?
No.
Have you got any Dire Straits?
No.
Have you got any Take That?
No.
And that's a shame, because the evening request shows are actually very popular on the wards, and it's worth remembering the people that man hospital radio give their time free of charge.
It is a little bit disappointing when somebody asks for requests and you haven't got that music. You've got to say to them, we haven't got that, would you like something else? So yeah, it's disappointing for us, but we generally struggle through at the moment.
To give the collection a much-needed boost, we bought the station the new blockbuster Beatles CD, so patients can have more of that and less of this.
I love you because you understand it.
Jim Reeves and Bob Greaves, there you go. Now, he's been warming the cockles of our hearts for the last few weeks with his soup recipes, but now it seems that Pred's supply of winter warmers is down to the very last drop.